We are so lucky Tuesday at 8:30 to have the legend on, Coach Kim Mulkey, fresh off a couple more big-time wins. Coach Mulkey, what's going on? How we feeling this Tuesday?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Always good after a win.
Yep.
And glad to be back home. You know, when you get over there in an hour on a plane and can get back before the 10 o'clock news, you're doing good.
And so before we talk about the winning College Station, I do want to talk about the Alabama game, Coach, because there's a game where you're down 10 and a half, okay, and you come out and you win the third quarter 30-9, right, and really just set the tone for how that second half was going to go. And sometimes in sports, there can be some debate over like the value of like a halftime speech, right? Like, what is it? Is it a speech? Is it an adjustment? What went down in halftime to create such a tale of two games there?
I wish that I had $1 for every time people think I go in at halftime and give a good butt chewing or put some magic stuff on the board, because I really think these people have this visual of me, and it's just a lot of times not even close.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't say much. What does happen now in the moment, say at the end of the second quarter, we're heading into halftime and we do something bad like against South Carolina, we gave up a 3 and we went in too early on the shot clock. You go in the locker room in the moment and you teach and you motivate, or you do that butt chewing. But most of the time, what we do is I go into the coach's locker room and we talk and we look at stat sheet and we write down things that we want to tell the team, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go into that locker room and depending on the gut feel I have on what they need to hear from me. And if I remember correctly, I told them, I said, you continue down this road, you're going to be very disappointed in this game, and it's not going to look good to get beat at home by Alabama, who's a big rival. So you got to remember, I have to throw those little rival things in there because the majority of the players are not Louisiana kids. So that rival between you, T-Bob, and Hester
for
is
sure
a lot bigger than maybe a kid from Baltimore or a kid from, the state of Washington.
No, that's a great point, Coach. And, I mean, last night was one of those rivals in Texas A&M, and you're on the road, but you didn't have to worry about maybe underperforming in the first half. I mean, you have a lead 36-14 going into half, and really the first quarter, I mean, your team left little doubt, and they were the aggressor. I know that was nice to see, considering, the Alabama game, it was a different way, but in this game, you came out firing hot.
We're coming off a bye week, and I cannot explain to anyone, unless you're a coach, the value of a bye week. We gave them 2 days off, and then we spent 2 days, hard days, on us, and a lot of that is defense. And I see so much value in those bye weeks because I see us growing. I see us getting better. I see us going against the guys, the dream team every day. And I thought that the first bye week, and then here we just finished the second bye week. And I got to tell you, I told the team, I will be surprised if you don't come out playing the way you've played all week in practice. And they did exactly what we've been doing.
Well, and when you look, Coach, I know you were always very defensively minded above all else, in defensive effort. And I don't think I've ever seen a second quarter in which a team scores 4 points and shoots 11% from the field. Where would that rank among your favorite periods of basketball this season?
I was asked in the press conference afterwards about the 4 points, and I have to tell you, I didn't realize that. What I did realize was the 11% from the field. I tell y'all, at the end of a ball game, I'm always looking. The first stat I look at on the stat sheet is field goal percentage defense. And this was another opponent that we kept under 39-9, which is you're going to win a lot of games when you do that. I don't know. I would have to think about how many in my career, what's the fewest points that we've ever held an opponent. You got to remember, a lot of that was half. We didn't have quarters until several years ago. So I'm looking at trying to compare a quarter to a half that I played the majority or coached the majority of my career in. So but certainly it would rank up there. And we did do a good job. Everybody was helping each other. Everybody was communicating. When shots were taken, we were contesting them. We were just very together. I always tell them, give me 5 LSU players always guarding that basketball. You know where it is. You know when to help. And they did a really good job.
Coach, when you look at something also doing a nice job, I mean, you almost had 3 players that were double-digit rebounds last night. And, like, when this team, and you know this better than we do, when you're at your best, it's like you have that. Like, you have rebounding the basketball at a very high clip, and we know what Angel can do, Morrow can do. But, like, Flage having 9 boards, like, that just feels like if that happens, it's going to be hard to beat this LSU team.
Flage had a good evening, and I'm going to start with why it was good for her. She was assigned to the best perimeter player, and she had to start the game and guard her probably the majority. Well, she did, except for a few possessions, the majority of the game. And then she scored the ball, and then she rebounded the ball, and that's just it's so valuable. And to think that kid's only a sophomore, and I'm asking her to do things on the perimeter defensively that she's never been asked to do before. I sometimes have to stop and go, Kim, you've got a sophomore on the wing. You've got a freshman on the wing. Let these kids get better, and don't be so hard on them. And so, I recognize that. Angel's going to be Angel, and Angel got in some foul trouble last night. I thought, without getting into the officiating, I just thought the officials, you just got to let the game flow. There was too much going to the monitor. People don't enjoy seeing that. And yet we maintained the lead. When they tried to make a little run there, we'd come back and we'd score the ball. We got a lot of transition baskets because of our defense.
Coach, looking forward, it's getting to be about that time, right? A few games left of the schedule. Next on the docket, though, Auburn coming to town this Thursday. Of course, Auburn, one of the kind of the surprise results from earlier in this season. Are you a revenge motivator when it comes to your team? Are you
you try to figure out a way to ask that.
Yeah, I'm just
asking.
asking. Look, man, because I know I used to use anger of the past from maybe a previous result as a big time motivating factor for getting me pissed off and in the right mindset.
I am at my best when I coach angry. And when I coach angry, it's kind of like Tom Brady says, he's got to find somebody on that opposing side of the ball. Just make it more than it really was to get yourself motivated. And absolutely. And if I have to do backflips and crazy stuff to motivate the team, then we haven't progressed as a team. I don't know that I personally will have to say very much when we're in that film room today getting ready for Auburn. That was a game where, we give credit to Auburn, which I did, and I always will when people beat us. But I'm glad we have another shot at them. I'm glad it's at home, and I'm glad it's right now when we're playing pretty darn good basketball.
Coach, you mentioned the bye week and, getting some extra time, getting some off days and working on some things that you've been wanting to work on. You just haven't had the time. But you've got, starting last night in College Station, 3 of the 4 next games are on the road. You got to go to Tennessee, you got to go to Georgia. Not looking ahead at those games individually, but just looking at the schedule. Like, do you change anything in your routine knowing you have that many games away from the PMAC?
Well, the only thing that changes is if you want to add a little tweak here or there to something you're going to run or something you're going to do defensively. Tennessee is, that's a. I'm not looking past Auburn. Auburn beat us, but I do recognize that we've got 4 remaining games, and Tennessee's on the road. Then you got Georgia, who just gave South Carolina a good game at their place. And then you close with Kentucky at home for senior night. So I tell them where we stand in the standings. We're in second place. You control your own destiny somewhat, and let's go finish this thing out and see where we land, and then go to the conference tournament and try to win a couple games and do some things in the conference tournament we haven't done. We've never played for a championship in the conference tournament. Yep. Each year we've won one more game, which is progress, and I recognize that, but it would sure be fun to finish second in the league and go to the conference tournament and play in that championship game and then see where the chips fall when it comes to NCAA seeding.
Coach Kim Mulkey, if you want to be a part of the revenge tour this Thursday night in the PMAC, 8 p.m., going down against Auburn, go get loud, go get crazy, support the defending national champs as, it's about that time. 4 more games, and then tourney time is here. Coach Mulkey, really cannot thank you enough on every note every week for stopping by with us every single Tuesday.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.